but one people traveling first class with permanent first class tickets. And the rest of mankind down in the hold of the ship, in destitution and poverty. 15% up here, ruling, and 85% down there. These up here, they have first-class services. They got the best food, the purest food. They got clean bottled water. Those down there have to live with germs and diseases all around them. These over here have the best medical care that money can buy. And wow, what is modern medicine doing? Miracles. Those down there, they can't afford it, so they have to suffer until death comes upon them. So they're like slaves. It's a new slavery which has come upon the world. And this woman is a slave woman, enslaved by riba, Dajjal's riba. And she's down there in the hold of the ship. She is a slave woman. Well, how could a slave woman give birth to her mistress? What does he mean by that? The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that the last people to come out to Dajjal will be women. And a man would have to return to his home and tie his wife and sister and daughter to protect and preserve them from Dajjal. So women cannot themselves protect and preserve themselves when they are afflicted with the disease from Dajjal. Only men can deal with it. What is this that Dajjal is going to attack women with? You must have seen the flyer that we published in The Guardian last week on this lecture. Something is going to sweep women off their feet, giving them a new way of looking at gender, a new way of looking at femininity. Something new, something better than anything that Abraham had ever said, alayhi salam, anything that Moses had ever said, alayhi salam, anything that Jesus had ever said, alayhi salam, anything that Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, has ever said. No, they are gone. They are now in the museums of history. We have come with something new, something better than everything that the past had to offer. We have come with a revolution to bring women into a new world that they've never known before, to liberate them from the oppression of the ages, to show them what it is to be a woman. Yes, but this that will sweep women off their feet, this feminist revolution, while it would appear to be something positive, and would have positive dimensions in it because Dajjal is stupid. Like, for example, women's education. Oh, but we have no problem with that. Women's education. Did the Prophet not say, alayhi salatu wasalam, talabul ilmu faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslimah? It is compulsory, he said. These are his words. It is compulsory on every Muslim male and female to acquire knowledge. So we have no problem with that. A restoration of women's rights, the feminist revolution. Oh, we think that's something positive. That a woman could own property in her own name. She could have money which is her money. That she could inherit from her parents and inherit from her husband. In Britain, until the beginning of the 20th century, she couldn't do that. No. She had no rights to inherit, to own in her own name. So the feminist revolution gives to her these rights, economic rights. We don't have a problem with that, do we? No. Because for 1400 years, we have had the law which came down from Allah, which gave to women these rights. It's another thing that we are not allowed to live in accordance with Islam anymore. And Tom, Dick and Harry, who dance to the tune of the enemies of Islam, Tom, Dick and Harry, sometimes through the barrel of a gun, sometimes through a rigged election, sometimes through a conspiracy like Musharraf in Pakistan, take over power over Muslims and then use the military to ensure that Muslims do not have the freedom to enforce Islam. And so naturally aberrations will take place and the Muslim world will look like a sorry mess after a while, and then they blame that on Islam. No. Whenever Islam can be implemented, whenever we have the freedom to enforce Islam, then you see that women have their rights. And so a feminist revolution comes, which has some positive dimensions in it, yes. But in fact, it is basically destructive. A woman can't see that. And so they're deceived. The Prophet ﷺ said that women would be dressed and yet naked. How could he say this? 1400 years ago. And only now it has come to pass. Because when Imran was a child growing up, we didn't see women dressed and yet naked in this country, no. But now, in this miserable age, go to any shopping mall and they are dressed and yet naked. The prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is fulfilled before our very eyes. So we better pay attention to what the Prophet has said. It might be the difference between heaven and hell. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, that this feminist revolution would be accompanied by a sexual revolution. He said that people would have sexual intercourse in public like donkeys. Like donkeys, like donkeys. Mark the word, donkeys. Around the world today we can see that a sexual revolution is already taking place, and it should not be long before this prophecy is fulfilled. Indeed, we in the island of Trinidad, we have the distinction of being a people who already have donkey sex being simulated in public, on the streets, in carnival. So we can see with our very eyes the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ before our very eyes in carnival in Trinidad. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, that the majority of children who will be born would be illegitimate children, bastard children. Why? Because people will be having sexual relations without marriage. Why? Marriage is for the birds. The institution of marriage eventually disappears. Why would the institution of marriage disappear? He said, amongst the signs of the last day is that one man would have to maintain, how many? 50 women. It is a prophet of Allah who can prophesy this. That hasn't come as yet, but it's coming. What will cause this? A precipitous decline in baby boys being born. So that almost all that are born would be baby girls. Is the explanation residing somewhere in the male biological being? Is the explanation located somewhere in the, come up in front, in the production of sperm? Could it be that the production of sperm, male sperm, it is some way linked with the food that we eat? Huh? Could it be that by changing the genetic composition of food and eating genetically modified food, that the food that we eat can no longer produce the sperm that they're supposed to produce? Could it be that environmental pollution has something to do with it? Could it be that a life of stress, I mean, just look at the man's face and you will